अरे हम कब होंगे ब्रजवासी, अरे हम कब होंगे ब्रजवासी, अरे हम कब होंगे ब्रजवासी, अरे हम कब होंगे ब्रजवासी। ठाकुर नंद किशोर हमारे। अच्छा है, पहली बार कर रहे हैं ये। हाँ 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 हाँ। अब तो वाह, उसी तरह, उस तरह का कुछ। हम्म। राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री 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 राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री 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 राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री 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 राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री 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 राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 श्री राम 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 जय जय राधे जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम जय राधे जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम जय जय राधे जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम जय राधे जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम पावन राधे तेरो नाम पावन 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 श्री वृंदावन धाम जय जय श्यामा जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम जय जय श्यामा जय जय श्याम जय श्री वृंदावन धाम पावन राधे तेरो नाम पावन श्री वृंदावन धाम पावन राधे तेरो नाम पावन श्री वृंदावन धाम जय जय राधे जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम जय जय राधे जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम पावन राधे तेरो नाम पावन श्री वृंदावन धाम पावन राधे तेरो नाम पावन श्री वृंदावन धाम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय जय राधे जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम जय जय राधे जय जय श्याम जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम सीताराम 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 सीताराम। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा इसको पीछे कर दो हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे, बोल बोलो भाई, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा हरे राम हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, कृष्ण राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, bolo bolo, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, बोलिए भाई, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। बोलिए बोलिए। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम राम राम। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। बोलो बोलो भाई। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। बोले भाई। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। श्री राधे श्री राधे जय श्री राधे। हे राधे श्री श्री राधे जय श्री राधे श्री राधे श्री राधे श्री राधे जय श्री राधे श्री राधे जय श्री राधे जय श्री राधे जय श्री राधे 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 जय श्री राधे श्री राधे श्री राधे श्री राधे श्री राधे जय श्री राधे श्री राधे श्री राधे श्री राधे जय श्री राधे श्री राधे श्री राधे श्री राधे जय श्री राधे श्री राधे श्री राधे श्री राधे जय श्री राधे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे बोलिए भैया हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे बोलिए हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Hare Hare. Bolo bolo. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare बोलिए Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama. No, no. Take a paper and take a paper and yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare बोले भाई Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 बोलो बोलो हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे अमरेंद्र प्रभु की जय। हरि बोल।
प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय जय श्री राधे श्याम। Kumar Prabhu, should I begin? Hare Krishna. Before I begin, I want to express gratitude to so many devotees who are Prabhupada wrote a book called Elevation in Krishna Consciousness. We want to heartily welcome Akrurnath Prabhu and Jagani Mataji. Hari Bol. My Guru Maharaj told me, said, wherever you go, if you find my God brothers and God sisters, understand that I am present through them. My Guru Maharaj told me, you should give them the affection and the respect and the adoration that you would give me. Thank you for coming. So we'll quickly chant the Mangalacharan prayers and then we'll get started. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Akrurnath Prabhu, Jagrini Mataji. We are so fortunate to have you here today among us. And we are very delighted. We were looking.
We're still very fortunate.
Thank you so much. And Amarendra Prabhu,
Want to use this mic?
thank you so much for gracing our house. And we were looking forward to this day for a long time. It was my dream, and it happened spontaneously. I also want to thank His Grace Sham Jagannath Prabhu for giving us this opportunity. And I also want to welcome Mataji.
Swastika.
Swastika Mataji, thank you so much for coming. And it's our honor. So we would like to, and everybody knows Prabhu very well. So there is no need for me to waste my time because everybody wants to hear from Prabhu. But Bhavadvida Bhagavatas Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirthi Gurvanti Tirthani Swantastena Gadabruta. So pure devotees, they walk, and wherever they put their feet, it's like bringing all the holy places to us, and that is our greatest fortune. Yudhishthir Maharaj prayed this when Vidura walked in after his pilgrimage. So with very much delight and very much love and affection in our hearts, we welcome and welcome all of you. And I request everybody to say Hari Bol 3 times. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Our very beloved our very beloved Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came in this world to give something that was never given before. Sometimes we understand that to be the holy name. Sometimes we understand that to be bhakti. But what Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu came to give is way more deeper than any definition that we can ever give. We can see so many acharyas came in this world. Sripad Adi Shankaracharya came in this world. Such an exalted soul, very exalted. Yes, as Vaishnavas, we respect the philosophy from a distance. But as far as the position of Sri Adi Shankaracharya is concerned, as far as the position of Sripad Adi Shankaracharya is concerned, we worship him as an incarnation of Lord Shiva, as one of the greatest Vaishnavas. Great Vaishnavas like Sripad Adi Shankaracharya, Sripad Ramanujacharya, Sripad Madhvacharya, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarka Acharya, Sripad Vallabhacharya. How many great Vaishnavas have come in this world? In so many sampradayas. What is that thing that makes Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Mahaprabhu? What is that thing that makes Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's gift very different and very rare? We will try to discuss that today. The only thing that we lack in this world is pure, unadulterated, unmotivated, uninterrupted devotion at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. That is what we lack in this world. Everything else is in surplus. In this world, there's wealth in profuse surplus, and it keeps moving from one account to another. We are working for 40 years. Why? Only to transfer the money from the company's account to personal account. We spend 40 years doing that. All the money from the company account comes into our account. Bus. And then what happens? We get tired, we leave our body, and it remains in our account. Then it comes from our account to our son's account. So money just moves between accounts, and we lose human forms in an attempt to just move money from one account to another. This is not the purpose of human life. Athato Brahma Jidnyasa. What is the time? Oh, it is time to inquire. It is time to inquire on the absolute truth. That is the time. It's not 10 or 11 or 12. Now is the time to inquire. Where is my Krishna? How many more lifetimes I have to waste in this world before I reach my ultimate goal? What is the thing that I have to do? What are the things that I should not do? Whom should I be with? Whom should I not be with? How should I chalk my life? How should I very wonderfully, how can I wonderfully, systematically organize my life in a way that the ultimate goal for which I have attained this human form is achieved? To inquire, that is the time at this moment. We have not come in this world for anything else. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada said, we have not come in this world to be engineers. We have not come in this world to become artisans and craftsmen. He said, we have come in this world to become messengers of Lord Chaitanya Dev. That is why we have come in this world. Durlabho manusho deho dehinam kshanabhanguraha tatrapi durlabam manye vaikunta priyadarshanam. त्यक्त्वा सुदुर्लभ सुरेशित आज्य लक्ष्मी धर्मिष्ठ आर्य वचसा यदगादरण्यम. Bhagavatam describes the Lord comes in different incarnations only to remind us that we belong to Him and nobody else. What we think as a dream is actual reality, and what we think is reality is a dream. To make us realize this, the Lord comes sometimes as Ram and sometimes as Krishna. And when we still don't learn our lesson, sometimes as Kalki, sometimes as Buddha, sometimes as Rishabdev, sometimes as Kapila, and very rarely as Nishinga. He comes to wake us up. Labdhva sudurlabhamidam bahusambhavante manushyam anityam apiha dhira turnam yatet napatet anumrityu yavad nishreyasaya vishayam khalu sarvatasyad. Bhagavatam. I was told Achyut Kumar Prabhu loves Bhagavatam. He's always breathing how to distribute Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not surprising if you're part of Vaisheshika Prabhu's team. His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu is like one of the most powerful chosen representatives of Mahaprabhu. Who else has taken up book distribution like him in the whole world? Given a chance, he will even team up with Elon Musk and go to Mars to start book distribution. And say, I'm Vish, where are you from? I'm from Mars. Oh, same here. Who else can do that? When we think about it, now we have book distribution seminars. I was expressing this to His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu yesterday, that now we are learning how to do it. What to say, what not to say, whom not to say, how to present it, what should be the mood, what should be the words, how should we do it. I was telling Prabhuji that, but he never had that. He went on one principle, that this will please Prabhupada. That's all. Prabhupada said, if you want to please me, distribute my books. Now, Vaisheshika Prabhu all his life does book distribution and finds out the tricks and trades, the techniques, how to get it done, and then gives it us in the form of jokes, in the form of the taglines that we can speak. So he goes into the ocean and gets the pearl for us. This is what great acharyas do. Time and again to wake us up to reality. So many great Vaishnavas come in this world in different forms. Some teach us about deity worship. You can have like a Sripad Dinabandhu Prabhu in Vrindavan taking you around Braj Mandal, showing you different pastime places. Or you can have like a Sripad Mukunda Datta Prabhu as the head pujari, or Jananivas Prabhu, Pankajangri Prabhu, absorbed in deity worship. Or you can have someone like an Aindra Prabhu, loudly, thunderously calling out to Krishna, collectively and personally. Maybe after the class, Prabhuji. After the class. Because it interrupts the flow. Even better would be this. So time and again, acharyas come in this world. Krishna comes in this world to teach us what is the purpose of our life. Nayam atma pravachanena labhya, na medhaya na bahuna shrutena. We cannot ascertain what we are supposed to do by reading the scriptures. Tarko pratishto shrutaya vibhinna nasa vrishiryasya matam na bhinna dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gata sapantha. When we read the scriptures, it may seem that, there's apparent contradiction, but there is no contradiction. To reconcile these differences is very difficult. Only a Madhyamadikari Vaishnav can do that. How do we understand? How do we get out of this prison of this material world? How do we get our way out of this blazing fire of material existence? Oh, pure Vaishnavas come in this world. Samsara dava analali dhaloka. Tranaya karunya ghana ghanatvam. Praptasya kalyana gunarnavasya. Vande guru Shri Charanara Vindam. This verse by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, it teaches us that there's only one way by which we can put off a forest fire. Is it by pipes of water? Is it by buckets of water? How can we put off a forest fire? There's only one way. It has to rain. And there's no way we can induce rain. The cloud has to come on its own accord. And when the cloud comes and pours in rain and extinguishes the forest fire, there's nothing we can give the cloud in reciprocation. Because by the time we realize what the cloud has given us and we step out of the forest fire, the cloud has already disappeared. This is the life of great Vaishnava Acharyas. They come like clouds. Now, why clouds? We've all heard of the water cycle principle. The water from the ocean becomes cloud by the heat of the sun. And then those clouds move around giving rain. Krishna is the ocean of mercy. But we, while being caught in a forest fire, we can't come out of a forest fire and go to an ocean. We can't do that. Nor can we call out to the ocean to come there. Krishna, who's like the ocean of mercy, very kindly manifests as the rain cloud in the form of Guru. And that Guru is carrying the water by the water cycle principle, the water of mercy from the heart of the ocean, which is Krishna. And then that cloud in the form of Guru Tattva goes around, looking where there is a forest fire in the lives of others, and pours rain of compassion in the form of Hari Katha and Hari Kirtan. And then those who are stuck in the forest fire of suffering, of distress, of calamity, of confusion and bewilderment, when they are bathing in this rain shower of Hari Katha and Hari Kirtan, suddenly you see, oh, all problems have disappeared. I am no longer suffering. Now you may say, well, don't devotees suffer? The answer is no. Do problems come in their life? The answer is yes. Do they suffer? The answer is no. My Guru Maharaj gives an example. When you walk near the skyscrapers look so tall. But when you take an airplane and you fly thousands and thousands of feet above ground, you look at those skyscrapers, they look like matchboxes. So when our consciousness is very low, problems look like skyscrapers. And when our consciousness goes up in the airplane of bhakti, then you look down at problems as insignificant matchboxes. They become that small. So Guru comes in this world. Acharyas come in this world out of mercy. They don't have to come in this world. One very great Acharya in North India has written that the heart of Vaishnava Acharyas is like butter. The heart of Vaishnava Acharyas is like butter. Why? Because it is white in purity and soft in compassion and very tasty in rasa, like butter. But then he says, I am sorry, this is a bad example. Why? Because when you heat butter, it gets affected. But Vaishnava Acharyas are not like that. You can enforce as much criticism on them in the form of heat, and their heart never melts. In the form of butter, in the form of their heart, never gets affected by the heat of criticism on them. However, when there's heat in the lives of others, the butter of their heart melts. When there is suffering in the lives of other Vaishnavas, their heart melts. So the poet writes, yes, the heart of Vaishnava Acharyas is like butter because it is white in purity, soft in compassion, and tasty in rasa, in bhakti. But it's a bad example because this butter actually melts when there is heat in the life of others. We are spending lives, sukhaya dukkha mokshaya, to become happy ourselves and to remove the suffering in our life. But Vaishnava Acharyas, they don't worry about themselves. They come in this world to give joy to others. They come in this world to remove the suffering in the lives of others. This is the greatness of great souls. Who can understand? Who can understand the heart of a pure Vaishnava? He sees distress in the life of others and is ready to even sit on a cargo ship. Think about it. All of us sitting here would not be sitting here doing what we are doing, eating what we are eating, and wearing what we are wearing, and aspiring for what we are aspiring, if it wouldn't have been for one Prabhupada to sit on the cargo ship for 37 days, being seasick, and coming from Calcutta to Commonwealth Pier in Boston. And the interesting thing is, Prabhupada did not have to come. We devotees, we make our post-retirement plans. And what is that? Let me buy a house in Vrindavan. I will settle down in Vrindavan. I will have a nice, cute home. I'll go to Krishna Balaram Mandir. I'll offer some service. I'll chant. I'll read. I'll hear. And it's all about I. And look at Srila Prabhupada. He was a sannyasi. Can get better than that in the ashram level. And at the same time, he was living at the Radha Damodar temple. We buy houses so that we can go to the Radha Damodar temple. Prabhupada made a house in the temple. And he left that to come here where there were no devotees. Not one devotee in the North American continent. Not one. Absolutely no one. No Gaudiya Vaishnav. And here comes Srila Prabhupada and starts grassroots revolution from nowhere. Everything against him. There's no money. Age is not on his side. Culture shock. He doesn't even have the proper winter clothing. Comes with such a heavy Bengali accent. Doesn't preach. Doesn't change anything. And presents Krishna exactly as he is, without any ulterior agenda of himself. Prabhupada writes in his diary, tomorrow is Gaur Purnima and all my god brothers are in Mayapur. They are all celebrating. The celebration has started, the appearance of Mahaprabhu. And here I am looking outside the window in America all by myself. And then Srila Prabhupada writes, yes, it is disheartening for me, but I am confident by the instruction of my Guru Maharaj. I am pleasing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by fulfilling my Guru Maharaj's instruction. Every Vaishnava Acharya lived his life with this level of compassion. Think about how much we take from society and how much we give society. Look how much time we spend in clothing, homes, food, our making money, our comfort, our luxury. And what do we give society in return? Very little. It's about me, my wife or my husband, my children, my job, my recreation, my gym, all of that, and then we will see if there's a little more time for something else. And Vaishnava Acharyas, exact opposite. What do they do for eating? They beg door to door. What do they do for clothing? They wear kopin and an upper cloth. That's it. Where do they live? They live under trees. What do they drink? They drink water from the Jamuna. What do they tolerate? Insults. And what do they give? Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Hare Krishna. This is what they give. They give their books. They give their commentaries. They give their songs. And they leave it anonymous. They don't print. They don't have any patent. They don't have any copyright. They just offer it to Krishna as selflessly as it gets. So much so that Krishna is bound by their love and he comes again and again to reciprocate with them. Acharyas come in this world for us. What connection do we have to Krishna independent of them? Nothing. Without the books that we have today, without the classes we have today, without the holy name and the kirtan and the deities that we have today, how can we approach Krishna? And what do? We read their books, we hear their classes, we hear their life story, and we take the credit. Someone says, you are so sweet a singer. Oh, you give such nice classes. Oh, you distribute books so well. Oh, you're the best pujari. You're the best cook. And we get flattered by that. Think about it. We are flattered of being the best book distributor. Well, who wrote the books? I didn't write it myself. Who instructed me to distribute those books? How did I get inspired in distributing those books? Who gave me the beads that I chant to get the tap into the empowerment that I received today? Who gave me these deities? The classes that we give, who gave those books and those classes that we heard and then we spoke from? We would be a thief if we keep all that credit to ourselves. We would be a thief if we keep any of that credit to ourselves. Think about the vocal cord capacity that Krishna gives us. Think of the coordination that Krishna gives us with those thoughts. It just takes one heart attack, one stroke, one paralytic stroke. It could just be one virus, COVID. And everything stops. I remember when I went for my wisdom tooth extraction, the dentist was a devotee. And the dentist gave me multiple anesthesia, local anesthesia, to numb the gums before the wisdom tooth extraction took place. And I saw within 20 seconds, 30 seconds max, my lips won't move. I can't even articulate, can't even speak. And I'm thinking to myself, that's how insignificant we are. It takes one injection and 20 seconds to put all our false ego to ashes. And here are great Vaishnava Acharyas coming, being whipped in 22 marketplaces, being put on the crucifix. Think of the life of Jesus, carrying the cross that he was crucified on, having a whole crown of nails and thorns ruptured into his head, and being crucified alive. And he's weeping, crying to God, God, please forgive them, they know not what they do. What level of love is this? Here is Haridas Thakur being whipped, and with every whip he's saying, Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! And he's chanting Hari Bol. And the tormentors are thinking, what is this? The reason you're being whipped is because you're chanting Hari Bol. And now after the whip, you're chanting more Hari Bol. They said, why are you saying this Hari Bol all the time? And Haridas Thakur said, you said it. You said it. You said it. Now Yamadutas cannot ever come in your direction. I am so happy. He is being whipped. It is described when Namacharya Haridas Thakur was being dragged from street to street. It was like a slaughtered animal, bloodshed all over the street. Bones are broken, skin is ripped. And Haridas Thakur says, if that's all that I have to go through for you to chant, I will do this 1,000,000 times again. Anyone who loves Krishna bleeds in compassion for others. Anyone. And when there is no love for Krishna, there's love for our own false ego and our own body. We can't think of others. We think of others as enemies. I want to achieve something, and if I get it, I want more of it. Greed. And if I don't get it, the one who's stopping me from getting it, I am angry. He's my enemy. And if I get it, and others also get it, then there is competition. And if I get it, others don't get it, then there is pride. And if I don't get it, and others get it, there is envy. Root cause of all evil is being self-centric, which is forgetfulness of our love for Krishna. This is the root cause of all our suffering. When our Srila Prabhupada told Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, isn't our first priority to free India from the British? Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur said, you're talking about freeing India from the British. I am talking about freeing the whole world from distress. Which is a bigger struggle? And Prabhupada said, the one that you're fighting. Saraswati Thakur said, you should help me in that fight. When Subhash Chandra Bose came to the Gaudiya Math, He told Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, you give all these youth to me. I will free India from the British. And Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur said, you give your army to me. I will free the whole world from Maya. This is how Vaishnava Acharyas think. Bleeding in compassion. So many Acharyas have come in this world to teach us of the higher principle of loving God. Sripad Ramanujacharya came. And he taught us love to the lotus feet of Lakshmi Narayan. Is everyone in the discussion? Sripad Ramanujacharya came to teach us how to love Lakshmi Narayan, how to aspire for Vaikuntha, how to be in the mood of a servant and serve Narayana, Narasimha, Varaha, Hayagriva with Lakshmi Devi. But then you see, you had Sripad Madhvacharya, who said, we will worship Krishna, the root cause of Narayan. Ramanujacharya said, we will worship Lakshmi Narayan. But Madhvacharya said, we will worship Krishna in Udupi. You see personalities like Goswami Tulsidas and Valmiki Muni, and in the Ramanandi Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, they said, we will worship Sita Ram. So then there are those who worship Sita Ram and take you towards Ayodhya. There are those who worship Lakshmi Narayan and take you to Vaikuntha. Then there are those who teach you how to worship Krishna with Rukmini and Satyabhama in Dwarka. You see, we're going notches higher and higher and higher and higher. Some Vaishnavas come and say, you should go to Vaikuntha. And some say, let's go even higher. Let's go to Ayodhya, the abode of Ram. Some say, well, let's go even further. And Sripad Madhvacharya said, oh, let's worship Krishna in Vrindavan with a butter pot in his hand in Udupi. Then we see great personalities like Sripad Vallabhacharya came, who said, we will worship Krishna, yes, with Mother Yashoda in the Pushti Marg Sampradaya. The word Pushti means Poshanam, to be nourished. Who can nourish us? The mother can nourish us. Considering other Vaishnavas to be like our mothers and begging for their mercy, which is like their milk, and being nourished by their grace is the marg, is the path that Sripad Vallabhacharya gave. To be nourished by the mercy of other Vaishnava Acharyas, other Vaishnavas, the path of nourishment and worship of Krishna with Mother Yashoda. You can see in the Pushti Marg Sampradaya, there are great Vaishnava sannyasis who even worship Radha Krishna. Great souls like Surdas, Kumbandas, Paramanandas, so many great Vaishnavas. They wrote songs about Radha Krishna. Then you have personalities like Vishnu Swami. You have personalities like Nimbarkacharya, Nimbaditya, who gave the worship of Radha Krishna. But dear devotees, here is where it gets even more fascinating. The fascination is, as we are confused where to go, Acharyas are coming to give us different flavor. You want to go to Lakshmi Narayan, or you worship you want to worship Lakshmi Narayan, you worship how the Alvars worshipped. You chant the Vishnu Sahasranam, you chant the Narayaniyam, you chant the Shri Sukta, you chant the Purusha Sukta, and live in places like Sri Rangam, where you have darshan. The deity is also Lakshmi Narayan, the names chanted are also Lakshmi Narayan, the books read are also Lakshmi Narayan, the devotees you associate are also devotees of Lakshmi Narayan. So in this way, the mood becomes one-pointed. Then there are those who want to worship Sitaram. They live in Ayodhya. They live in Chitrakoot. They bathe in Sarayu, the river. They chant the names of Sita and Ram. They read Ramayana. They worship the deity of Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. And they associate with those who are like-minded in that mood. Right? Then there are those who worship Vittal Rukmini in Maharashtra. They will chant Ram Krishna Hari, the Varkari Sampradaya. They will read songs and books glorifying them. The songs of Tukaram, the Jnaneshwari of Sant Jnaneshwar. They will go to Pandharpur. They will follow Vrat. And they will worship Rukmini with Vittala in the mood of Dwarkadish, Krishna. But you can see, dear devotees, the mood of Vrindavan is very different. Don't come to this mood if you're not interested. Rupa Goswami Pad says, if you want to be happy in this world, if you want to cut jokes with your friends, if you want to make nice plans with family, oh, then just there is one request. Never go to Vrindavan on the banks of Jamuna and have darshan of Radha Gopinath. Don't. Because if you ever go to him and if you hear his flute, Yat Gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Once gone, we will never return. Krishna is so attractive. Smera bhangi traya parichita sachi vistirna drishti. Vamshi nyasta adara kishalayam ujwalam chandrakena. Govindakhyam haritanumiha keshi tirthopakanthe ma prekshishta stava yadi sakhe bandhu sange stirangaha. If you have association of friends in this world and you want to be happy, don't go to Vrindavan. If you go to Vrindavan, Braj tyajike main kahi nahi jaun. Then the determination that will come is, I will never want to leave Vrindavan. Even if the body comes out of Vrindavan, the heart will still be in Vrindavan. There's a saying, you can take a Brajbasi out of Vrindavan, but you can never take the Vrindavan out of a Brajbasi. Not possible. So many acharyas came to give this mood, sweet mood of Vrindavan. This mood of Vrindavan is such, every other mood is worshipping God as a servant, considering him to be the master. But in Vrindavan, it is the exact opposite. Worshipping, oh, forget worshipping. Worshipping Vishnu for the protection of Krishna. Putana comes, Mother Yashoda puts tilak on the body of Krishna with the names of Krishna to protect him. When Krishna opens his mouth and universes are seen, Mother Yashoda thinks, oh, what is this? Balaram said he ate dirt, but it seems like he has eaten the whole world. More bigger problem than I thought it is. Krishna is thinking, when I showed one universal form to people outside, they surrendered to me. Like you see on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, one universal form and Arjuna falls flat, offering Karpanya doshopahatasya bhava. Sakheti matva prasabham yaduktam. Krishna, you are my master and I am your servant. Oh, wait a minute. Before the universal form, Arjuna, you were the one who thought you were the master and he's the servant. Take my chariot between the two armies. And now, my lord, I don't know which army to fight. You teach me. How did that happen? One universal form. And here, millions of universal forms in the mouth. What is Mother Yashoda thinking? Oh, my child is going to have stomach upset tomorrow. With so many universals in the mouth. How will he digest it? This is her concern. Krishna is more concerned seeing her concern. How can someone have such pure love? She's thinking, did Indra cast a spell on me? That's why I'm seeing all these omens. Then she's thinking to herself, why will Indra do that to me? I am simply a cowherd woman. I am churning yogurt and I'm milking the cows. What has Indra to do with me? I am not some sadhu who's going to usurp his position. If I was some muni who's going to become Indra, or if I was Prithu doing yajnas, then Indra will have a problem. Yashoda is saying, but I'm not in any way competitive. Why will Indra have any problem? So it's not Indra's spell. Oh, maybe I am sleepy. I am dreaming. She said, no, my eyes are wide open. Then she said, maybe he's God. What Gargacharya said, maybe that's true. And as soon as that thought came, Mother Yashoda herself eclipsed it by saying, how he can be God. When there is thundering and lightning, he jumps like a kitten behind my back. Huh? If he is God, he should be in Yoga Nidra, like Mahavishnu. But here, he comes to me rubbing his eyes and saying, "Oh, Mama, can you tell me some bedtime stories? I am feeling sleepy." What kind of God is this? Breaking pots in the neighbor's house. One time there was a very great devotee. He was chanting the holy name, very pure Vaishnav, in the line of Sripad Vallabhacharya. So he was chanting the holy name and he was having darshan of Krishna. He was having darshan of Krishna with the friends. They were all stealing butter. They had made a nice pyramid by climbing on each other's shoulders. And there was Krishna up there. He was holding the pot and also putting his hand in and trying to taste and give the butter to others. This Vaishnava is chanting and seeing these pastimes. Suddenly he sees, as Krishna is doing all this, his dhoti is slipping from behind. And this Acharya is chanting and he's smiling that, "Oh, Krishna, your dhoti is slipping." And suddenly he sees two hands come out of nowhere and they start tucking the dhoti in. With one hand he's holding the pot, with the other he's eating, and two extra hands come out, they help him tuck the dhoti. This Acharya's meditation breaks. He thinks, wait a minute, Krishna has 4 arms? I never knew that. And as he thought, those 2 arms disappear and Krishna looked at him in the meditation and shh. This Vaishnava Acharya wrote a song. "Oh Krishna, I bow down to you because you have 4 arms." Because of this, this Vaishnava was renamed as Chaturbhuj Dasji. Chaturbhuj means 4-armed. The Lord who has 4 arms, not Vishnu, but Krishna in this pastime. This Acharya is identifying himself as the servant of that Krishna. So when you hear in Shastra, Chaturbhujam, Rukmini Satya Bhamabhyam Sahitam Krishnam Ashraye. Oh, that for Brajbasis, it doesn't mean Krishna outside with 4 arms or Vishnu with 4 arms. It refers to this pastime where Krishna develops 2 extra arms. So in Vrindavan, the mood, Mother Yashoda is thinking he cannot be God. How can he be God? And she's giving reasons why Krishna is not God. Jiva Goswami Pad writes Sandarbha was proving how Krishna is God. Acharyas write commentaries to prove how Krishna is God. But Mother Yashoda's love is so high in mood, so high class, that she is giving reasons to prove how Krishna is not God. We sometimes think whether or not Krishna is God. Why? Because of lack of faith. But the Brajbasis are convinced Krishna is not God because of excess love. There's so much love that any conception of reverence is eclipsed. Do they worship God? Yes, but they worship Narayan. Saying, "Please keep my 2 babies, Krishna and Balaram, always protected." Mother Yashoda ties a Narsingha Kavacha when Krishna goes into the forest. And she's praying to Narsinghadev, "Please protect my son." And there Krishna is smiling. He's my partial expansion. You're praying to my partial expansion to protect me. Huh? This is Vrindavan. Krishna gives reasons. When he defeats demons, he flaunts in front of his friends, and friends don't still believe him. He sips the forest fire and tells his friends, "What do you think about it?" And the friend says, "I think we were all just in an illusion. I don't think there was any forest fire for you to sip. Maybe you're the magician who learned some magic trick by which you can just create some illusion and then make us believe that you sipped that fire. Maybe it didn't happen." Krishna's saying, "I just sipped the whole forest fire for you, and you still don't believe that I am God." In this world, people approach Krishna because he is God, because they know he can fulfill their desires. But in Braja, whether or not he is God doesn't matter to them. Their love is so much more higher than any of these conceptions. Therefore, it is described, dear devotees, this love of Vrindavan is the rarest gift one can ever attain. If we really want to get anything in our heart, in this human form, we should aspire to get this love of Vrindavan. Love of Vrindavan is very beautiful. Our acharyas explain. The Brajbasis are so fortunate that demigods pray to them. May I have a drop of your heart's devotion to Krishna. Demigods. Uddhava is praying. Asamaho charanareno jushamaham syam vrindavane kimapi gulmalataushadhinam ya dustyajam swajanamarya patam jaritva bhejur mukunda padavim shruti mrigyameva etam param tanubhruto bhuvi gopavadvo govinda eva nikhilatmani ruda bhava vanchanti yad bhavabhiyo munayo vayamcha kim brahma janma bhirananta katharasasya vande nanda vrajastrinam padarenu yasam hari kathodgitam punati bhuvanatrayam. Uddhava is praying that lifetime after lifetime, may I live in Vrindavan. I don't want to go anywhere else. If I can't live in Vrindavan, no problem. As Uddhav, at least make me a blade of grass somewhere, so that those gopis who are crying and weeping in separation from Krishna as they run, may the dust from their lotus feet touch my head and may my life become purified. It is described when Uddhav came to Vrindavan. First of all, he didn't want to come to Vrindavan. He was happy with Krishna in Mathura. But Krishna sent a letter with him. And Krishna told him, Gacha Uddhava vrajastro saumya pitru no pritimavaha gopina mat viyogadin mat sandeshair vimochaya. Krishna told Uddhav, O Uddhav, go to Vrindavan. Gacha. Gacha means go. Uddhav is saying, where should I go? Gacha Uddhava. Oh Uddhav, go. Where? Vraja. Go to Vraja. And do what? Pitru no pritimavaha. Give love to our parents. Now you may say, well, Krishna and Uddhav's combined parents? Our parents means what? Krishna is referring to Nanda and Yashoda. But why he is saying our parents? Shripad Sanatan Goswami Pad writes, she's doing some Braj Mandal Parikrama. She can settle down. Mother can take care. So Uddhav, go to Vrindavan and give love to our parents. When Uddhav came to Vrindavan, he understood the purport of what Krishna had said. Krishna said, give love to our parents. He was thinking, our parents. You should say, your parents. Why our parents? But when Nanda and Yashoda embraced Uddhav, they embraced him like how they would embrace Krishna. So Krishna knew, knowing this, he said, oh Uddhav, when you go to Vrindavan, my parents will embrace you and take care of you like the way they take care of me. So they are not just my parents, our parents. Or talk to them not distinctly, thinking that you're talking to my parents. Talk to them like how you talk to your parents. So Srimad Bhagavatam has multiple meanings. But then Krishna says, Gopina mat viyogadin mat sandeshai vimochaya. But when you go to the gopis, you don't put your head there. To our parents, Nanda and Yashoda, you can try to speak your heart. But when you come to the gopis, just repeat my letter again and again and again. If they don't understand, read the same letter. You don't comment. Now, how do we understand this? That verse says, Gopinam mat viyogadin mat sandeshaihi vimochaya. The word sandesha means message, and only one message was given in the letter. But in the verse, plural is used. Give my messages, although there was only one letter. So the acharyas say that means reading the same letter over and over again. And Krishna uses the word mat twice. My gopis who are separated from me, meet them and tell them my messages again and again. You don't interfere. Uddhav was thinking he is very intelligent. Vrishtinam pravaro mantri Krishnasya daita sakha shishyo brihaspate sakshat Uddhavo buddhi sattamaha. It is described Uddhav was the direct disciple of Brihaspati. Why direct disciple? Brihaspati never took human disciples. The prerequisite to be his disciple is one has to be a demigod. And that too, he will not teach all demigods. He will only teach like a Indra, for example. And he will tell Indra, you teach others. So in the verse it is said, Shishyo Brihaspate Sakshad. He was not just a human exception as a disciple of Brihaspati, but Brihaspati taught him directly. And that Uddhav could not understand the love of Vrindavan. My Guru Maharaj gives an example. When you have a hat and you have to look at a tall skyscraper, you keep looking at how tall the skyscraper is. You keep looking, and at one point, the hat that you wear falls behind you. So Uddhav came to Vrindavan with a hat called intelligence. And looking at the skyscraper height of the love of the gopis, the intellect hat fell behind him. And Uddhav said, how astonishing. We in Mathura thought we are the ones who love Krishna. But looking at the love of the Brajbasis, they don't want anything from Krishna. They want to search out for Krishna. When Uddhav went to Mother Yashoda and he said, oh, don't worry, Maya, you have not lost your son. He's God. He's not your son. He's God. Don't worry. He's inside, outside, so near, yet so far. Uddhav was trying to use Ishopanishad. Tad dure tat antike. That Krishna is so far, yet he's so near. If he was your son, then you can feel distress. But he's God, so you can approach him. Uddhav thought this will work. Mother Yashoda started crying even more. She said, I thought I am in separation from my son, and now you tell me my son was God. It's like saying someone who lost $10, they're looking for the $10 bill. And someone comes and says, oh, don't worry. That was not $10, that was $10,000. Mother Yashoda thinks this is a bigger loss. Whatever Uddhav was trying to do was only backfiring. Like when the tawa is very hot, you want to make it cold. You want to take the heat away. So if you pour a lot of water, then it'll get cool. But if you just take a couple of drops and you just put on the hot tawa, you can see the heat will start rising. So Mother Yashoda's heart was like the hot tawa on fire, in separation from Krishna. And Uddhav's words were like drops of water. And they were actually increasing the heat. At one point, Uddhav felt, I have not learnt this science from Brihaspati. He taught me everything except this. In fact, even Brihaspati had not learnt this. The love of Vrindavan. Outside Vrindavan, there is opulence. In Vrindavan, there is more opulence. However, there is much more spontaneous love that opulence gets eclipsed. Shripad Sanatan Goswami in Brihad Bhagavatamrit gives an example. He says, if you take 50 kgs of salt and you throw it into well water, what happens to that well water? I repeat, you take 50 kgs of salt and throw it into well water, what happens to that well water? It becomes salty, you agree? Now you take 50 kgs of salt, 500 kgs of salt, even 5,000 kgs of salt, and you throw it into the ocean, what happens? Nothing happens. Why? Not because it's already salty, but because the water content in the ocean is much, much more than how much ever salt you can throw. Shripad Sanatan Goswami gives this example to say love outside Vrindavan is like a well water. It's sweet and little, but as soon as Krishna throws in the 50 kgs of opulence, their water becomes salty. They fall from friendship. Arjun fell down to servitude. Similarly, Mother Devaki, when Krishna came to Mathura, she put her hands out. Oh, I will embrace my little baby who's coming after 11 years. But as soon as she saw Krishna slam Kamsa to death, she stood like this. What happened? Krishna showed the 50 kgs of salt in the form of his opulence, and the well water of their love became salty with reverence. But in Vrindavan, the love is like an ocean. The volume of water is so much more in the form of spontaneous love. Krishna keeps throwing as much salt of opulence as possible. They all get eclipsed because the love is so spontaneous. Friends fight with Krishna. Who can do that? They close his eyes from behind and say, can you guess who this is? To whom? Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna. The one who created eyes. You are trying to close his eyes. Sarvato panipadostat sarvatokshi shiromukham. Bhagavad Gita says Krishna has millions of eyes. And you're trying to shut his eyelids. Yat chakshuresha savita sakalagrahanam raja samasta suramurti rashesha teja. Sun and moon are his blinking eyes. And you're trying to cover his eyes. But the friends don't have any of this consideration. They have only one consideration. He's my ever best friend that I can ever have. I love Krishna with all my heart. This is the nature of Vrindavan. Please everyone chant. Shakale jagate more kare vidhi bhakti braja bhav paite nahi shakti. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna is saying, Shakale jagate more kare vidhi bhakti. The whole world is worshipping me for one of the three reasons. One, either out of fear. Oh, if I don't worship Krishna, what will happen? Or, oh, if I worship Krishna, my desires will be fulfilled. Or, duty bound. He has given me this human form. It is my duty to serve him. Either out of fear, if I don't serve him, what will happen to me? Or to serve him because if I serve him, I will get positive happiness. Or because I have received this human form, out of duty, let me serve him. In all these three considerations, there is a I-ness. I-ness. But Vraj Bhakti is minus. M-I-N-U-S. Minus. M-Y-N-E-S-S. Minus. That's Braj Bhakti. And 2 minus brings 1 positive. 1 plus. 2 negatives bring 1 positive. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna is saying, please everyone chant, Sakale jagate more kare vidhi bhakti. This is a pain in Krishna's heart. The whole world is worshipping me because of one of these 3 reasons. But vidhi bhakti, braja bhav, paite nahi shakti. Krishna is saying, if you have this mood, you will never enter Vrindavan. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita. So before death, if we don't develop the spontaneous mood, no Vrindavan. If anyone comes to Vrindavan and says, Krishna, you're God, they're out. They're out. Brahma came and what happened? He said, Aho bhagyam nanda gopa vrajaukasam yan mitram paramanandam purnam brahma sanatanam. All glories to the Brajbasis. Why? Because they befriended the Supreme Lord. As soon as Brahma said this, Brinda Devi was like, shh, took Brahma out of Braj. Brinda Devi kept Brahma for some more prayers and said, chalo, finish. As soon as you said he's God, out. Because this land is not the land where you remind him he's God. Out. This is the land of spontaneity. Indra came after the Govardhan Leela. And he called Krishna Govinda. Now you may say, Govinda is a very nice name. What does the word Govinda mean? One who gives pleasure to the cows. If this is the mood, then it is okay. He who gives pleasure to our senses, if this is the mood, then you're out. Same name. Indra chanted the name Govinda with one mood. He said, Oh Lord, Govinda, you give pleasure to the cows. As soon as he said this, Brinda Devi asked him to leave. Now you may say, well, what's wrong with that? Indra had this mood, according to the Gau Upanishad, all demigods live in the cows. So, oh Krishna, you protect and you give pleasure to the cows in whose body we demigods live. Therefore, you are our protector. Instead of saying this directly, Indra said, you are the protector of the cows. See, this is Srimad Bhagavatam. Layer inside a layer inside a layer. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, you will read Indra calling Krishna Govinda. But Indra didn't get residence in Vrindavan. Brinda Devi asked him to leave. Ho gaya aapka prayers? Chalo. Now you leave. Don't remind Krishna that he's God. If Brajbasis say you are the protector of cows, that is okay. But the Gau Upanishad describes demigods live in the cows. So instead of saying you are our protector, he's saying you are their protector. Cows. Because in the cows we live. So that's the indirect way of saying you are protecting us. Because in the Govardhan Leela, Krishna did not protect the cows. He protected Indra from his own false ego. So contextually in the pastime, as soon as Indra said that, Brinda Devi asked him to leave. Vidhi bhakti brajabhav paite nahi shakti. Everyone. Aishwarya jnane te sab jagata mishrit. Aishwarya shitila prem nahi mora preet. Krishna is saying, Aishwarya mishrita bhakti. Aishwarya jnanete sabha jagata mishrit. The whole world is worshipping me because I am God. Krishna is saying, but what if I resign from that position? Will you still worship me? Aishwarya shithila prem nahi mora preet. Krishna says, I don't like people who approach me just because I'm rich. There's a saying, rich man has no true friends. You've noticed that? As soon as you start making money, inconceivably unimaginable relatives start coming in. Friends start coming in. Do you remember me? Like how Krishna and Sudama were friends in childhood. We were friends in the same school. And then like Bhagavad Gita, you may have forgotten, but I remember our friendship. As soon as we become poor, as soon as we hit a rock bottom in life, you will see all those people who have ulterior agendas in your life, they will leave. Bho daridrya namastubhyam siddhoham tvat prasadatah pashyamyaham jagat sarvam namam pashyati kasyana. One man was asked, what is the greatest mystic power that you have? He said, the greatest mystic power that I have is that I am poor. Why? As soon as I became poor, I could see the whole world, but the whole world couldn't see me. Hare Krishna. Because the world is busy seeing rich people. Those who are poor, those who can't offer us anything, we have no time for them. As soon as somebody becomes influential, becomes famous, becomes rich, becomes something that we can tap into, we start getting connected to them. Think about Krishna's predicament then. The whole creation is approaching him to just get things out of him. Krishna feels like an ATM machine. Everyone's coming and putting their card of bhakti, Mishrit bhakti, mixed devotion, only to get the cash out of Krishna. Some go to Krishna saying that, oh, let me have a son. Some go to Krishna, let me have long life. Some go to Krishna, oh, let me have a bigger house. When you go to Vrindavan Parikrama, you can see people making houses out of the different rocks of Govardhan. There's a saying in Vrindavan, while doing Govardhan Parikrama, if you take the rocks of Govardhan and you make a house, like just build something out of it, the bigger your structure, the bigger house Govardhan will give you. So those who want to build houses, they go to Govardhan. And you know what's the Shastrik Praman for that? Not from me, from those Brajbasi priests who say this story. They say even Krishna, when he wanted a roof, he came under Govardhan. So they use this pastime to say, when Govardhan can give a roof to God, why won't he give you a roof? So if you ever want a home, make rocks, make a house. This is not part of the class. This is what the Brajbasi priests say. Please don't walk out of the class. What did Amarendra say today? Oh, he was saying that if you want a bigger home, just make a Govardhan. That's not the essence. So they say like that. Going to Govardhan Parikrama just to get a house out of Krishna. So Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Aishwarya jnanete sabha jagata mishrit. Aishwarya shithila prem nahi mora preet. Krishna is saying, those who approach me with this mood to take things out of me because I am God. I don't like this. But what do I like? Please everyone chant. Mora putra mora sakha, mora pranapati, ei bhave jai more, करे शुद्ध भक्ति, आपना के बड़ा माना, आम समहीन, এই ভাবে আমি হই তাহার অধীন. Krishna is saying, those who say, Mora Putra, Krishna is my child. Mora Sakha, Krishna is my friend. Mora Pranapati, like the gopis, Krishna is my husband. And in this mood of relation, Sambandha, ei bhave jai more kare shuddha bhakti. Those who worship me, love me, serve me without any ulterior agenda. His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu yesterday said, Prabhupada's motto was everything for Krishna and nothing for me. It's beautiful. Never heard this before. It was beautiful. It was like a English aphorism, sutra, right? Like Vedanta Sutra, this is an English aphorism. Everything for Krishna and nothing for me. Krishna is saying, those who have love for me. Look at this Gopal. He's sitting on the altar. Now there are two ways to worship. If you consider him to be Krishna, then the worship is you bow down to him, right? You pray to him, etc., etc. If he is your child, then you pray to Jagannath for him. When it is cold, you wrap him with a winter cloth. When it is summertime, you give him sleeveless. You put fans next to him, keep some toys next to him, put him to sleep when it's late, wake him up in the morning, give him sweets. When you leave the house, don't leave him all alone. Take him with you. That love, Gopal says, attracts my heart. Mora putra, mora sakha, mora pranapati. When there is mamata, possessiveness, Krishna says, those who consider themselves to be my devotee, apana ka bada mane, like Mother Yashoda, considering themselves to be better and me to be inferior. Or like the friends, considering themselves to be equal to me. Ei bhave ami hoy tahar adhin. Baith jao, bacha. With all your books, you sit down. Bashun. Krishna is saying, anybody who loves me in this mood, that they're equal to me as friends, or they're higher than me as my parent, and takes care of me lovingly, lalan apalan. Krishna says, ei bhave ami hoy tahar adhin. By this I am bound. In Vrindavan, I had seen a tagline which said, Paramatma prarthana ka nahi prem ka bhuka hai. Bhuka, which means the Lord is hungry for your affection. The affection that we give in this world. What do? We give our heart in this world and we give money to God. He is Lakshmikant. He is Lakshmipati. Good if you give your money with affection, no problem. But if we give our heart in this world and we give our pocket to Krishna, instead we should do the other way. Give the pocket to this world. People want your money, take it. But I will give my heart only to Krishna, Shyamasundar. No one else. But how can this world taste that? Sripad Vallabhacharya was sent. Sripad Nimbarkacharya was sent to give this love of Vrindavan. However, dear devotees, there was one love which was never given, ever. What is that? You will say the love of the gopis. Because it is so high. How can anyone access the love of the gopis? But the answer is, Sripad Nimbarkacharya, he came with this mood of Gopi Bhav to flood this world with the worship of Radha and Krishna. Which worship? Much louder. Radha and Krishna. You see, Sripad Nimbarkacharya gave the bhakti of Radha and Krishna in this world. There are three types of bhakti. Worship of Radha Krishna, worship of Radha Krishna from Krishna's side, worship of Radha and Krishna from Radharani's side. The first two that I said was given. Nimbarkacharya came in this world to worship Radha Krishna, worshipping both of them. Like the Ashtasakhis, the 8 Sakhis of Radha and Krishna. They are called Samasnehadika. They have equal love for Radha and Krishna. If Radharani is being unreasonable, they'll take sides with Krishna. And if Krishna is being unreasonable, they'll take sides with Radharani. Then there is one camp. It is called Krishna Snehadika, where they worship Radha Krishna, but from the side of Krishna. Like you can see Brinda Devi. Sripad Vallabhacharya came to give this mood of worship of Radha Krishna, but from Krishna's side. Brinda Devi is like this. If Radharani is being unreasonable, they will take sides with Krishna. And if Krishna is being unreasonable, they'll still take sides with Krishna. This is called Krishna Snehadika. Dear devotees, there was one compartment, one department, one aspect of love, the highest possible love, which had never touched this plane of material existence ever. To give this world conception about God is great. That's a gift. God is great. But then even higher, worship of Vishnu. Even higher, worship of Ram. Even higher, worship of Krishna in Dwarka. Even higher, worship of Krishna in Mathura. Even higher, worship of Krishna in Vrindavan as a servant. Even higher, worship of Krishna in Vrindavan as a friend. Even higher, worship of Krishna in Vrindavan in maternal love. Even higher, worship of Krishna in Vrindavan like the gopis in conjugal mood. In that, 3 departments. Worship of Radha and Krishna, taking both sides. Even higher, worship of Radha and Krishna, taking sides with Krishna. Being fanatically disposed to the side of Krishna. Never being able to see any faults with Krishna. And dear devotees, not the base, but the cake. Not the cake, but the icing. Not the icing, but the cherry on the icing, on the cake, of the base of this beautiful, wonderful preparation of Prema Bhakti is worship of Radha and Krishna being fanatically disposed from the side of Srimati Radharani. This was never given before. This was never given. No one could ever think of these 2 syllables, Radha. Who is Radharani? What is Radha Tattva? The form of Radharani, the name of Radharani, the dham of Radharani, the leelas of Radharani, the associates of Radharani. Oh, all of this was hidden for billions and billions of years. And then it took Paramadayal, Prema Purushottama, Kali Yuga Pavana, Kali Bhayanashana, Shri Shachinandan Gaura Hari Ki. It came to Kali Yuga in the lifetime, in the day of Brahma, the Kali Yuga that we are living in, for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come in this world in the mood of an Acharya. And he came and gave what? Jadi Gauranga na hoito, tabe ki hoito, kemone dharitam de, Radhar Mahima. I am not saying this. The Acharyas are saying this. It was not Radha Krishner Mahima. It's not Krishner Mahima. Radhar Mahima. Prema Rasasima. Jagato Janato Ke. Narahari Sarkar and Vasudev Ghosh combined in 2 songs they write. If not for Mahaprabhu, Radharani wouldn't have, the concept, the idea of Radha Tattva wouldn't have touched this plane of reality in this world. Today we go to Vrindavan. We see Radha Damodar, Radha Gopinath, Radha Govind, Radha Raman, Radha Kund. Please tell me, who discovered Radha Kund? Only Radharani can discover her own Kund. Who else can? It took Krishna with the mood of Srimati Radhika to come in this world and discover Radha Kund and bless the whole world to bathe on the banks of this Kund, the waters of her mercy. Therefore, dear devotees, it is described, চিরকালে নাহি দিয়ে প্রেম ভক্তি দান, প্রেম ভক্তি বিনা নাহি জগতের অবস্থান। আপনি করিম ভক্ত ভাব অঙ্গীকার, আপনি করিম ভক্তি শিখামু সবার। Krishna is thinking, this love of the greatest devotee of mine, Srimati Radharani's love, this world has never seen. Chira kale nahi diye prema bhakti dan. And there is nobody who can bring it down. Because Radharani is so humble. She will not think that she has love. And nobody else can taste that love except Krishna. So if Krishna doesn't give this gift to the whole world, who else can? Nobody can. So Krishna is thinking, the love of all the devotees in this world is like a mustard seed compared to the Mount Meru, like love of Brahma. The love of Brahma is like a mustard seed compared to the love of Lord Shiva, which is like Mount Meru. The love of Lord Shiva is like a mustard seed compared to the love of the residents of Ayodhya. The residents of Ayodhya, their love is like a mustard seed compared to the love of those who love Krishna in Dwarka, which is like Mount Meru. But the love of those in Dwarka is like a mustard seed compared to the love of those in Mathura, which is like Mount Meru. The love of those in Mathura is like a mustard seed compared to the love of those in Vrindavan, which is like Mount Meru. And the love of Krishna's servants is like a mustard seed compared to the love of the friends, which is like Mount Meru. The love of Krishna's friends is like a mustard seed compared to the love of Mother Yashoda, which is like Mount Meru. And compared to everyone in Matragati, in Vatsalyarati, they consider the gopis of Vrindavan like Mount Meru. And the gopis of Vrindavan, they consider their love to be like a mustard seed compared to the love of Srimati Radharani, which is like Mount Meru. But Srimati Radharani herself, because her love is like Mount Meru, she considers her love to be like a mustard seed and considers everyone's love to be like Mount Meru. So this love of Srimati Radharani, when Krishna goes to Srimati Radharani and says, this love from your heart must touch the whole world, Radharani says, na prema gandhosti. Oh, I don't even have the scent of prem. Premera swabhavai premera sambandha. Nahi mora prema gandha. I don't even have the scent of love. What can I give? Then Krishna thought, if you can't give it, you give it to me and I will give it. You give your heart to me, Radharani. Krishna is speaking to Srimati Radharani. You give your heart's devotion to me and I will take it on your behalf to the whole world. But Radharani said, if I give it to you, you can handle it. You can't even handle the footwear of your father. Because when Krishna was told to hold the footwear of Nanda Baba, he can't hold it. He's wobbling and doubling in love. Krishna can hold, as Varaha, he can hold the whole creation in his tusk. As Giridhari, he can hold the whole Govardhan. But when it comes to holding the footwear of Nanda Baba, where the foot dust of his father's love is present, Krishna is holding, and this is the heaviest burden of love that he has ever faced. And he wobbles his way and he can't. Radharani sees this as an example and says, you can't even carry your father's footwear. How will you carry my heart? Krishna said, how does it feel? Radharani said, oh, nothing. Krishna said, oh, I have to experience it myself. You give it to me. Radharani said, if you take my heart, I am always crying, chanting your names. So if you take my heart, you will cry chanting your own names. Gauranga bolite habe pulaka sharir. You being Hari, Hari bolite nayane babeni. Oh Hari, oh Krishna, you yourself will say Hari after taking my heart. Because Radharani is saying, I am always chanting Hari. Oh Hari, oh Krishna, you will take my heart and now you will chant your own holy names and tears will come from your eyes. Hair will stand on end. Voice will choke. There will be discoloration in ecstasy. And you will faint. You can't handle it. Krishna said, what do I do? Radharani said, I'll give you a complimentary gift. As you're carrying my heart, I will wrap you with the blanket of my complexion. So even if you fall by the weight of this prem, even when hair stands on end, even when voice chokes, even when tears come from your eyes, even when your body horripilates and trembles in devotion, it's not your body. Your body will be protected by my complexion. Because my body, my complexion is used to it. But you have no experience. Just like when someone is learning to drive, you need like an expert passenger seat passenger who's sitting just to maneuver the steering wheel. So then Krishna says, I need your help. Not just in this way. You give me your heart and you protect me with your complexion, but still I don't know how to drive this vehicle of bhakti because I've never been a devotee of myself. So, hey Radhe, I want you to come and sit on the passenger seat and help me. Radharani said, okay. Apart from giving you my mood and covering you with the blanket of my complexion, I will come as Gadadhar Pandit. And I will always sit next to you. I will be in the same school. I will be born in the same Navadvip. In fact, I will even have the same last name as you. You will come from Jagannath Mishra, I will come from Madhav Mishra. The internal meaning is the wife always carries the last name of the husband. So Radharani in Gaura Leela, as Gadadhar Pandit, is carrying the same Mishra name. That is the last name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's passport name is Vishwambar Mishra. That's his passport name. Nimai Vishwambar Mishra. And actual formal name is Vishwambar Jagannath Mishra. First name, father's name, last name. And because his last name is Mishra, Radharani comes with that same name as Madhav Mishra's son, as Gadadhar Pandit Mishra. And when Krishna comes in this world, he experiences the devotion of Srimati Radharani. We are in the last 5 minutes of our discussion, dear devotees. If you've been sleeping till now, now is the time to wake up. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in this world to give that level of bhakti which is never seen, experienced or given in this world by anybody. Nobody can give this except Srimati Radharani herself. Nobody can discover Radha Kund, which is Radharani's Kund. Nobody can give the name, the seva, the bhav, the dham of Radha apart from Radharani herself. But Radharani in her humility doesn't give it because she doesn't think she has it. But Krishna sees it. And being non-different from Radha, he can take it and on her behalf can give it. So he comes in this world to taste this devotion because Krishna also has a hidden agenda here. Dear devotees, please understand. Krishna spoke so much in the Bhagavad Gita, things that he had never practiced. Guru means, what is the definition of Acharya that Prabhupada taught? Teach by example. Do we all agree Krishna is Jagat Guru? Krishna Mande Jagat Guru? What kind of guru is this? He's speaking about bhakti but himself is not a devotee. Krishna is saying, give your mind to me. Has he realized this? Has he ever given his mind as a devotee to himself? Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, give me a fruit, a flower, little water and I will accept. Have you ever been a devotee and offered Patram Pushpam to yourself? If you haven't, what you're speaking is theoretical, not practical. So Krishna thought to himself, oh, you should practice and then preach, but I preached. Now is the time to practice. So to take his own completion from Bhagavad Gita, from Dwapar Yuga to Kali Yuga, Krishna Chandra came as Gaura Chandra, now to practice Bhagavad Gita by being a devotee himself. Chaitanya Charitamrita describes, Apani na kaila bhakti shikhai na jaye. Ei to siddhanta Gita Bhagavate gaye. If you have not realized, you can't advise others. And Krishna did that in the Gita. So now is the time to realize it. And who better can he ask for realization than Srimati Radharani herself? So Krishna, to give this world the gift that was never given before and to himself experience, He came in this world for these two purposes. Everyone please chant. Prema raso niryas korite aswadan rag marg bhakti loke korite pracharan apani karimo bhakta bhava angikar apani karimo bhakti shikha mushabar. Krishna said, I will become a devotee, I will practice it, and then I will share this to everyone. In that way, I'm giving it, but charity begins at home. And this mood of being a maidservant to Srimati Radharani came in this world for the first time ever by the gift of Shachinandan Gaurahari. Nobody ever had seen and witnessed the services of the maidservants of Srimati Radharani. And you can understand this by the associates of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu had associates like Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Narottam Das Thakur, Baladev Vidya Bhushan, Shamananda Prabhu, Rasikananda Prabhu, Srinivas Acharya, Lokanath Goswami, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Bhugarbha Goswami, and all of them are maidservants of Radharani. Each one of them. Mahaprabhu, that is Krishna, taking the mood of Radha, with the complexion of Radha, giving this message of service to Radharani to this world, came in the association, like-minded association of the servants of Srimati Radharani in this world to flood this world with the mercy of Srimati Radharani. This is why, dear devotees, without worship of Mahaprabhu, we can't approach Radharani. And if you worship Mahaprabhu, nobody can stop you from the mercy of Radharani. Yatha yatha go Gaurapadara vinde Vindeta bhaktim Krita punya rashi Tato tatotsar Patirit saroje Radha padambhu Jasudambhurashi. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati said, and this is the last point for the day. He said, who else is more merciful than Shachinandan Gaurahari? He said, Nashinga came in this world for one Prahlad. He didn't come for me. Prabodhananda Saraswati, in his fanatical, devotional, ecstatic attachment to the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, Prabodhananda Saraswati says, Nashinga came in this world for one Prahlad. He didn't come for me. Ram came in this world, destroyed Ravan and took whole Ayodhya. Krishna came, he delivered the whole world. But I am still here. What about me? For me, there is only one master, he says. Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj says, glorify the king in whose kingdom you live. I repeat. Let's repeat this together. Glorify the king in whose kingdom you live. He says, if you live in the kingdom called Treta Yuga, worship Ram. If you worship in the kingdom called Dwapar Yuga, worship Krishna. But if you live in the kingdom called Kali Yuga, then you have only one king, he says. Ke jabi re bhai bhava sindhu par dhanya kali juge rachai tanya avatar Chaitanya avatar. Lotan Das Thakur says, it's time for discount sale. He says, those who want to cross the ocean of birth and death, we have the boat called Bhakti and we have the boatman called Mahaprabhu. Now you will say, what are the oars to row your way? He says, those are the two arms that you raise in Kirtan. That if you raise your arms in Kirtan, those are the oars sitting on the boat of Bhakti with the boatman called Mahaprabhu. Who is that person who doesn't want to cross the ocean of birth and death? Therefore, Prabodhananda Saraswati says, when the moon becomes full, the tides on the ocean increase. What happens when the moon becomes full? He says the moon represents Mahaprabhu. When your love for Mahaprabhu becomes a full moon, then in the ocean of Radharani's mercy, there'll be waves and tides to touch you. So we can approach Radharani's mercy and her seva and enter Vrindavan by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, if you know Mahaprabhu, please repeat. You know Radha Krishna. That's KNOW. But now, if you know Mahaprabhu, then you know Radha Krishna. If you know KNOW, Mahaprabhu, then you KNOW Krishna, Radha Krishna. But if you NO Mahaprabhu, then you NO Radha Krishna. Because he is the merciful nature of Radha and Krishna, who has come in this world to flood everyone with love. However, Prabodhananda Saraswati says, "Fie to my life. Vishwam Gaura Rase Magnam Sparshopi Mama Na Bhavat Vanchitosmi 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 Na Samshaya." The whole world was drowning in the love of Radha and Krishna by Mahaprabhu's mercy. I was not even touched by a drop of it. I have been cheated. I have been cheated. I have been cheated. Prabodhananda Saraswati says, if everyone is sad and we are sad, no problem. But if everyone is happy in the age of sadness, and I am the only one sad because I didn't get that prema bhakti, then there's no other help that I can ask for. Kala kali balina indriya vairi varga Shri bhakti marga iha kanthaka koti ruddha ha ha kvayami vikalah kimaham karomi chaitanya chandra yadinadya kripam karoshi. Prabodhananda Saraswati says, I am like a drowning man in the ocean of distress. And the crocodiles of problems are biting me. And the iron chains of addictions and bad habits have held me. I am sinking in the ocean of distress with crocodile-like problems biting me, with the iron chains of addictions and bad habit, and I'm not able to swim. And there's only one rescue operator, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Ha Gauranga, if not for you, what else will I do? As Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we should understand this is the gift Mahaprabhu came to give. This gift. Therefore, to tap into this gift, we serve the Vaishnavas, we hear from Sri Guru, we chant the holy name, and we pray to Mahaprabhu, may one drop of this prem touch my heart. May my heart become completely electrified, electrocuted by the spontaneous mood of Vrindavan. As we wrap up, we have only one verse to chant. Are you all ready? Yes. Anarpita charim chirat karunayavatirna kalo samarpayitumunnato jwalarasam svabhakte shriyam hari purata sundara द्युतिकदम्ब सन्दीपिता सदा हृदय कंदरे स्फुरतु वा शचिनन्दना सदा हृदय कंदरे स्फुरतु वा शचिनन्दना. Rupa Goswami says, Anarpita charim chirat karunaya avatirnaha kalau. To give that love of Radharani's service, which was never given before. Out of kindness you came in this world. To give what? Samarpaitum unnata ujjvala rasam svabhakti shriyam. Not to give the love of Vrindavan. Not to give the love of the gopis. Not to give the love of Radharani. But to give the service to the lotus feet of Radharani, who is the crest jewel of all devotees. And how did you do that? Hari Purata Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sandipitaha. Taking her mood, taking her complexion, and in her compassion you came. What Krishna didn't do ever. Krishna hid bhakti. But now when Krishna was infected by Radharani's devotion, he gave it away to one and all. You ask a rich man for the details of his bank account, he will never give you. Will any rich man give? Nobody will give. But you bring him over for drinks. After a couple of hours, forget about couple of hours, 20 minutes. Now you don't even ask for details. And he's not telling you, he's opening the door and walking in the middle of the night and screaming in the middle of the street the details of his bank account. Why? Because he's intoxicated with drinks. That rich man who would never give the details of his bank account, now because he's completely drunk, he's giving it out in the middle of the street, in the middle of the night, even when people don't ask for it. Krishna is that rich man who never gives the details of bhakti ever. But when he's completely intoxicated and drunk by the intoxicant called Radha Bhav, the love of Radharani, what happens? You don't ask for prem. He walks in the middle of the night of Kali Yuga, raising his arms in the middle of the street of compassion. He's screaming out the way to control his heart by giving instructions and doing kirtan and teaching by personal demonstration. This is the rich man becoming completely intoxicated by Radharani's mood. Rupa Goswami says, may that Mahaprabhu eternally shine in the cave of our hearts. Gaura Premanande! To Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who very kindly came in Kali Yuga to give this rare gift, we eternally bow down. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki, to Srila Prabhupada, who carried Chaitanya Charitamrita with him. In the Jaladuta, Prabhupada says, amidst the rocking tides of the ocean, being all alone in this cargo ship, the verses of Chaitanya Charitamrita gave solace to my heart. To Srila Prabhupada, who paused the translation of Srimad Bhagavatam only to speed up the translation of Chaitanya Charitamrita to bless this world with Gaura Leela. To that Srila Prabhupada, one and only representative of